just make sure I've got everything set up correctly. I wonder if we can come a little bit higher. See. Good morning, welcome to today's craft along. So today's session we're going to be making this tropical bee dance card, and I should be following along on a screen in front of me as well, just taking a while to catch up with the live stream. There it goes. Excellent, the sound's turned down so I haven't got me twice. If you are watching, if you do catch me live, you can let me know if you can hear the sound. I've got the mic plugged in. I'll try not to knock the camera too much, but let me just straighten that up. Try and work out all that straight. Straighten the camera, perfect, wonderful. Sorry about that. I always find this one you can't see the screen on. I feel like on Facebook Lives, and maybe Zoom as well, is that you can see what your what the camera's gonna look like before you hit live. But on this one, it's greyed out, and you can just about see where like the edge of the mat is. But yeah, you can't really get enough feel for how it's gonna look until you hit live. So welcome along. So this is the our July craft along 2023. So today we've got 3 workshops, and this is our first one together, and they're all kind of like definitely inspired by this, but this is the original. So the tropical bee bee dance, sorry, and it's available as a box kit. So this is a 5x5 card, and it comes in a box to make 4 of these cards. You can follow the instructions and make 4 of these designs, or once you've made one, you can go a little bit more off-piste and pick and choose some different layouts, different designs, so you can rotate it. So yes, it's lots of very versatile kits. So what I'm going to do today, so this is available as a beginner's kit or an advanced kit. What I'm going to show you today is how to make it from the advanced kit. But basically, halfway through today's workshop, it will then switch because I would have got all these pieces ready, just like they are in the beginner's kit, and then the assembly of the card is the same for all of us towards the end. So if you've got the beginner's kit, you can go make yourself a cup of tea, maybe grab a snack. You can add some extra details onto the elements, or if you're watching this on a replay, then you can fast forward a bit, and you'll probably spot where things start to change. So I'm going to go through what's in the advanced kits. So we have the background panel, the green, and then we've got the yellow card with the bee stamped on him already, and then we've got the flower, we've got the 2 leaves, the birthday wishes, and the mount, which is all cut to the sides. It's all my kits, anything like the little greetings and things are all cut to size, so they fit perfectly. And then 2 strips of this black sort of satin ribbon. Excellent. So you also need, so from the advanced kit, so actually I should show you, in the advanced kit, you will also have one of these cute little ink pads. I don't let myself have the cute ones, I have the big ones. So yeah, I've got the big ink pad that I'll be using today, but in your kit you'll have the small one. And then you'll also have a little sponge dabber, which I have my selection of all the colours here, but you'll get a nice clean brand new one. But I've got one for this colour. Was it that colour? That might be the tangerine. Let's go this one. Let's get me ready. Indecisive. Should have them labelled, shouldn't I? So you'll have a nice clean one of those. What you'll also have in your pack, if you can find it, got it see-through. So I've got these tape on it just so I can keep it with my ink pad. But you'll have a clear acetate. If I get that angle right, you can see with a little hexagon, and that's what we're going to use to make this background using that stencil. So keep track of where that is. Excellent. So I think let's get started. So I was going to, what do you need? So in this, you've got the ink pad and the sponge in the kit. And then in addition, we'll need some sellotape, or I've got some washi tape I'm going to use. A nice pair of sharp scissors. A little black fine liner pen. These Unipin ones are my favourite, but any black pen will do. Your kit will also have, you'll have some foam tape. Not tape, foam pads in your kit as well, and then I've got some glue here as well, so this just like dispenses double-sided tape. You can do it with double-sided tape or Pritt stick or PVA glue, but I find that one just a bit quicker and easier to use. Excellent. I'm going to have a sip of water and we'll get started. So if you're watching along live and you want to ask any questions, please do add it into the comments, and I'll be able to see it on the screen in front of me. And yeah, I can give you the answer as we go. But if you're watching the replay and you've got any questions, feel free to add them in, and I'll get notification and I can jump on and answer it for you after we've finished recording. Right, so I'm going to start by cutting out the flowers and leaves, because I find cutting out really relaxing. It might just be me, but it's my sort of mindfulness, it switches off my mind, and it's been a bit, not, I wouldn't say a stressful morning, just a rush morning. I think there's times when you feel like you're in control, and all of a sudden time has just disappeared. It takes one or two things to go wrong and you're like, I'm not as prepared as I thought I was. Which is finding my son's, I say my son's, it's a family iPad, but find the one I normally use, discovering it was on 4% this morning when I went to grab it. I was like, no. So we are using the backup iPad today, which is, yeah, less reliable. So cutting out these flowers, I'm just cutting around the outside of the black line. I'm trying to leave it so there's no yellow showing on the outside. You can bubble cut this if you wish, so that cutting around the lines, but I'm going to take my time and go along the black line, and if you notice what I'm doing, I'm turning the card rather than turning the scissors, so I'm not trying to go in and out of all the shapes and like moving my hand. I'm keeping this hand quite still, and just rotating the card, and then when you get to the point in the middle, I'm just switch it, spin it all the way around, and you can come back out again. I think we got left on there's more flowers on the B box card. I think we've got 5 to cut out in total today. I'm also cutting off any excess card so that there's not too much sort of restricting my movement. So every so often I'll just cut off to the side and remove any card I don't need. There we go. That one. green card. So these leaves. I always like to start with like the biggest, smoothest edge to get started on this. Cutting out. Gives you a strong start. So again, going into each of the indents on the leaves and then spinning the card round to come back out again. And then around the top. So if you're watching this thinking, oh, I could time lapse this bit, or we could have a couple of leaves made out earlier. The intention of these videos is that they are a craft along. So before I set these dates up, you are able to order the craft along kit, which has all these bits that you need to make this card with me. So I'm making it in real time so that you can literally craft along with me. So relax and enjoy just a slower pace of video. And if you've got the beginner's kit and you know you don't need to do these steps, then you can fast forward. Now, in my rush this morning, I didn't actually get myself a cup of tea. I got some water just to make sure I don't get struck by a coughing fit halfway through. But yes, so I'll be having a cup of tea at the end of this. I think there was one craft, I mean it was some live events I did during lockdown when my husband would appear halfway through the video with a cup of tea for me. That was good. And this is our last, so we've got 3 workshops today, but that'll be the end of our craft along series for this, actually for this year, because we'll be switching to prep for the Christmas craft along, which is, it will be on YouTube again, but it's done slightly differently. So I actually take over a full week, and we'll do a different workshop each day, each lunchtime, for the week, Monday to Friday, which is a lot of fun. Right, so now I've got all these pieces cut out, ready to go. The next thing I'm going to do is add some ink onto these, and so for that I'm going to remove the white, the shiny white card, and take it out of the danger zone. So I'm going to put that to one side. We'll use this. So I'm going to start by adding the ink around the edges. So I think these 2 rectangles don't have any ink on them. They can go to one side, but I do add some ink to the leaves, the flower, the birthday wishes, and around this large rectangle. So what I'm using on here is, this is a glass craft mat, which is ideal for this. But if you don't have a glass craft mat, you can just use some scrap paper. So the benefit of the glass is that it's not absorbing the ink. So if you're on a paper, you'll have to use more ink because the glass or the paper will be absorbing it at the same time you're trying to put it on there. But also if you have like any kind of I'll say acetate, but any like sort of plastic packaging, like a sheet of something, or a coaster, normally quite good. I'd used to say a CD case, but I don't think anyone has CD cases anymore lying around the home. So wet wipe to hand. So these little sponge dabbers, they fit on your finger. Very versatile. So I'm just going to dab it into the ink a couple of times, and then it's going to, like a palette, kind of add some onto the glass mat, and just sort of tap it out so that there's no sort of lumps of like concentrated ink, so you're sure that it's all spread out evenly. And then I'm going to do little circles, and I'm going to start off of the just going to make sure that's on screen. There's such a time delay in the on the video that I'm watching. So I'm going to start off of the card. I'm going to do circles and just drag the sponge onto the edge. So because it's like an orangey colour onto the yellow, it's quite bold. So I'll just aim to use a little bit of ink. You don't need much. And keep building up. On this one. There we go. And then we're going to do the same for this rectangle. Just little circles, just drag the ink onto the card. And then the final side. Beautiful. Right, so that's those two done. Now for the leaves, I'm just going to do the end of the leaves, and I'm going to do quite sort of light dabbing, but I am going to go from the card and out. On these ones, because I think if you drag it towards it, it catches on the leaves too much. And plus, because we're adding a orange colour onto green, it's a sort of a tonal effect, as opposed to, it won't stand out as a dark ink blob. So hopefully that's focusing. There's such a time delay that I can't wait. I'm still inking the leaf on the screen that I'm watching. And the same again for this one. So there's also nicely covered any sort of where you've cutting out and you've missed the black line a bit, or you've gone either side of the black line. This kind of hides those bits as well, which is quite handy. There we go. And then for the flower, so for this large petal, I'm going to drag onto the flower. And that helps us test out how much. So depends how orangey you can make your flower completely orange with just a yellow centre. It's up to you how you just want to tinge the edges of the leaves. And then for these more wiggly ones, I'm going to do the out style of inking. Beautiful. Okay, so it really transforms that flower. we still need that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean that bit of mat before we do the stenciling. And so I've got a wet wipe, biodegradable wet wipe. Could use I think I might use like a cloth that I could clean. And then I keep it in a sealed plastic bag, and I find it lasts quite a few days, depending on the weather. When it's really hot, it can dry out quite quickly, but it will last quite a few days. So let's have a look at the stencil, the fun bit. So the stencil's got a hexagon, so it's just got one hexagon shape. And what's great about this is that once you've done one, it's lining it up for the adjacent ones is really easy because you can see exactly where you're placing it. So you can copy this layout. I've done it in like 3 batches of 3, or you could cover the whole thing, or you could do a line across like Blockbusters, across from one side to the next. It's up to you where you want to add it. So let's start with here. I'm going to start with the end of the actually I might just bring this come down a little bit closer. Let's come down a little bit closer so you can see this. So the edge of the orange is starting in the orange, because I quite like the idea of it coming out from sort of hidden from the edge. So place it on. You don't need the tape. That tape is just there for me storing the ink pad. If you want to tape it, you're welcome to. If not, you can hold it down with 2 fingers. Just make sure it's flush. And then I'm going to dab the ink again. I'm just going to make sure I've got it all, so no like lumps of ink there. And then I'm going to start off on the template and then drag onto the card. So in a similar way that we were doing the pieces, I'm going to start off and come on rather than sponging onto the middle. But you can fill the whole area like that. And then to line up the next one, so I can see that space in between, and I'm going to add that on. So you don't need to re-ink every time, because you can have sort of a difference in gradient on there. And then I'm going to do this one. There we go. Now I've got a little mark on there, which can happen. It's a messy job, which is fine. But I think if I place one strategically there, I will be able to cover that over. There we go. And then I think I'm going to do one there, just to balance that out. I like to have things in batches of 3s or 5s or 7s. It's the rule of 3. Okay, so let's add some more up here. So yeah, so this is where you can experiment, do what you want, and then you've got this stencil for any other future projects as well. You can add your honeycomb. I haven't got around to doing it yet. I might do it this evening actually. I'm quite keen to try out a like mixing the inks and making a rainbow honeycomb pattern. So switching from one ink to the next, maybe mid hexagon on white card. If anyone gets there first, but to do that, let me know how it works. I think it looked quite cool. So each time just lining up the edge so I know how big the gap is going to be. It's gone quite pale now, so let's get a bit more ink. Go. Unfortunately, you can have quite a lot of fun with that. And right, I'm going to make sure is that everything is clean. So get the white. Because it is very easily done, especially when we start assembling the card with the white card blank to catch and get caught out by on there. So if you are watching along live, do say hello in the comments. Let me know you can hear me okay. That'd be fab. And I'm going to also clean the stencil. Make sure you don't get caught out by catching that somewhere else. And I'm just storing it on there. So I know where it is. So let me bring this back up again. Excellent. Right, so we are now at the point where the beginner's kit. So if you have the beginner's kit, all the pieces are prepared like this, ready to put together. So you're still very versatile, you can still mix and match how you want to put it together. Change a few things. Could have that in the top corner. You can have it on an angle. But we're going to make it in this style today. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to add the birthday wishes greeting onto, checking I'm in shot, onto the mount. So like I said, you'll find that they're the right size so you can get an even border around each edge. And then on the back of that I'm going to put some foam pads. So these come in your kit, so they're double-sided and they just lift the elements off the card. So I find generally like one layer is fine for normal UK postage. If you've got a few layers, like this one's got the flowers up on double, then you need to test the size of the thickness of your card before you send it, because you might need a large letter stamp. Before sending, let's put one there. Right, so I've kept all the backing sheets on there because I'm not going to make it sticky just yet, so that's just ready to add on when we are. And then for this one we're going to add the ribbon on first. So take your pieces of ribbon and we're going to put one, and we're going to line it up and place it on there. Test that you're happy how it looks. You want to add any more hexagons behind it, so you want it sort of halfway between the B and the end. And to stick this down, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the top and the bottom, because that just helps hold it in place. Okay, and that just sort of, I don't trust that to properly glue that, but it keeps it still for now. So I'm just going to add a bit of tape onto the back as well. hold down the ends, make sure you don't go over the edge. That's close. Trim it back just to make sure it doesn't creep out. Wonderful. Okay, so happy that's straight. So then with the second piece of ribbon, I'm going to thread it underneath, and I'm just going to do a simple knot, and then judge where you want it to be. Don't have to pull it too tight, and then with a nice sharp pair of scissors, just going to cut that at a nice angle. Okay, just adds a nice sort of interest and texture onto the card. Just brings out the black. You can slide up and down, depending on how you've tried it. I'm annoyed that one's going quite so straight down, but I might need to wiggle that later. So now that's ready to stick onto the green back. So I'm going to add some glue on this side. Actually, I'll try it. And then again, you just find a nice even edge around all of that. It can be more difficult to get it straight where it's got slight sort of up and down with the ribbon. So I'm going to line up this top, bottom and side with the long edge, and then that should beautiful. So now I think we're ready to start putting bits onto the card. So there's your card black. Well, mine's actually yours will be folded, but mine's flat. So you can unfold it and then lay out all the pieces onto the card. So you're looking for an even gap top on the right and the bottom. My whole brain was wanting to say left then. So, and then add birthday wishes on top, and then space for these two here. Just make sure you're happy. So if this is when you want to experiment and do different layouts, you can. And right, so I'm going to stick this flush down onto the card. And what I'm going to do, I'll check a little bit. So I do, as my quirk, but I do like to double glue. Let me just find. I've got a new one in here. Right, so I've also got this liquid glue, which is called Glossy Accents. Not actually a glue, but it's a very strong wet glue, and it just takes. It gets stuck in the nib. You just clear the nib. So use a normal pin just to poke back through. So the reason why I double glue is it's a security issue, because I always find that with some glues there's certain environments that causes some glues to lose their stick. I find if you've got two, then whoever you're sending this card to, if they want to leave it out on their conservatory window for the next 6 months in the bright sunshine, or I guess put somewhere in the house that it's there. If one glue fails, the other should hold it down. So I'm going to add that on there, especially because that section is taking a lot of the weight of the card. This one, the foam pads are very strong. Never known them to go. So I was going to add that onto there. So I'm going to peel off the backs of each of these. Aha, right. Hi, hi Jenny. I don't know when that message came in. Didn't come up right. I thought it was going to come up on my screen. And I think I can give a heart back. I don't know. Just give me the option of a heart. I don't know. There we go. Oh yes, you were joining a little bit later today, weren't you? I know I'm sure you'll catch up. Right, I have done all those. They're all sticky. So we can stick this on. Pin it straight. Another one onto there. I'll keep that on for now just so I can see where this goes. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to bend these leaves a little bit, to sort of bend them gently along that central line, just to give it a bit more of a boom. Oh, I've got to learn how to use this the YouTube screen. It's now where I've lost the live chat. I've now got a list of suggested Pokemon videos from because my kids always take over my YouTube account. I must be really confusing the algorithm. Publishing craft videos and subscribing to every American Pokemon YouTuber. Right, so added foam pads into the centre of those, and then just going to line it up, make sure that I'm happy with. I think what I'll do, I'm going to put the flower first because I think I've got enough room to slide the leaves in afterwards. That onto the corner there. So it's nice. I got the shape of the flower cutting over the white background, which is quite nice. And then I'm just going to peel those off and slide those underneath. Oh, it's getting caught on the ribbon a bit there. Just going to try and lift it up to avoid it sticking before it's in the right position. There we go. Oh, no, we haven't finished yet. You got the add the dance on. So this might feel a little daunting, and it is on a finished card. That is how it's. So if you want to practice adding these dotted lines somewhere else on a scrap paper first, or if you want to draw a pencil line, just be careful not to draw your pencil line too close to the edges because you want to be able to rub it out. So you want to avoid the sort of crossovers, but if you want to give yourself a general idea of where you're going to go, I'm going to copy this. I'm not going to try and be clever because it's live video. And let's go. So I'm going to go from the end of the butterfly, end of his tail, the end of the bee from his tail, and then sort of loop round, come across here and go up, and then what I have done on this one. is kept going off to the back. But you can go into the card and have some fun with it. So rotate the card as you need. There we go. So you know, until I stopped talking while I was concentrating. It is. So I love the result, but it is a bit of a leap of faith. But you're welcome to do just a few lines from the butterfly, or leave it as. But yeah, I think it's a very cute effect. So let me fold the card now. Hang on. Lid on before I accidentally write on it. Fold the card. And there we have it, ready to send. So like I say, you could bring the B line from in there and bring them down inside, or even start your message with it. Have some fun with it. I can't wait to see what you've made, how you've made it, whether you've got your own supplies and you've just interpret some of the techniques in this workshop. Do send them along to me. My email address is della@dellabydesign.co.uk. I'd love to hear from you. Or you can catch me on my socials, on my Facebook page, Instagram, and Threads now. So yes, I'm on Della by Design on each of those. Just a quick search and you'll find me. Wonderful. I'm going to go and make a cup of tea now, but I shall see you at our next crafty workshop. Bye bye.